All right. So it is, what day? Has this been the longest week on earth or what? Anyways, it's what Thursday. Gosh, I almost messed that up. Thursday, November 5th, and you are here at Litvak Leadership Live with my special guest and good friend, Brynne TIllman. Woo!
Hi, Sean. Thrilled to be here.
So excited to have you here. I got to tell everybody that when I first met Brynne, it was in our group Megamind, and for an hour of Brynne talking, it was like drinking from a fire hose. And I had thought my LinkedIn profile was so good. And then we used it as the example, and I found out, and I still haven't fixed it, it's so bad. So we're going to talk about LinkedIn and why it's important, but I want to tell you a little bit about Brynne first. Brynne is CEO of Social Sales Link. She's an author. She's a sales trainer. She is a sales navigator trainer. And frankly, if I have any questions about LinkedIn and why it's doing something, Brynne is your person to go to. So welcome.
Well, I am so thrilled to be here. Thank you so much. And I'm excited to share with your community some LinkedIn tips that can help them grow their business.
Absolutely. And we got Randy here. Hello, Randy. Oh, and Randy's got a new black and white photo.
Hello, my friend.
So Brynne, people look at LinkedIn for various reasons. Some people are like, oh, I only need it if I'm looking for a job. Some people are like, oh, I'm going to use it as a sales tool, and they hide their contacts from other people, and they don't put up a lot of information. Talk a little bit about how LinkedIn can communicate your why to somebody.
So I love that. So let's start for a second with defining what you want to get from LinkedIn. So you started saying some people are using it for sales, some people are using it for job seeking. We have to really define what do we want to get out of this. And typically the people that I help want sales conversations. So when we talk, we'll definitely get to the why, but when we talk about what do we do with our LinkedIn profile, really needs to be aligned with what you want to get out of it. So there's a lot. So if we're going with sales conversations, if that's where we want to get out of that, there's a whole philosophy, and why is like way down here in the philosophy. So we'll certainly start there. But there's a whole way of thinking of it before they even care about your why. So there's a lot that we need to do. You have to earn the right for them to care about your why. Right?
Oh. Yeah. Okay. So what's the first thing people should be thinking about with their LinkedIn?
So a couple of things. Number one, you've got to define who are you talking to, right?
All right.
Who is our audience? The next thing we have to figure out, and we have to shift, because the next thing we think about is, okay, what do I want to tell them? And if you think that, you're going to fail. What you need to do is figure out, what do they want to hear? And there's a big difference, because if we come from what do I want to tell them, we end up pitching. Everything that we end up doing is just telling them how great we are and how we help companies like them. And in today's world, particularly when like 90% of the networking is getting done on LinkedIn because our in-person is so limited.
Right.
Nobody wants to hear about how you can help them. What you need to do is shift from the mindset of what I want to tell them to what they want to hear. So what do they want to hear? They want to hear actual help.
Okay.
So we want to shift to being a resource, not being a salesperson.
Okay.
We want to show up as, my job is to educate as many of my target audience as I possibly can. And there's kind of 5 points that will get them to turn into a conversation.
All right.
One is we have to resonate with them. So they have to go, oh yeah, you're for me. This is it. I'm in the right place.
Right.
The second thing is we have to create curiosity. Right.
But aren't they curious that they're looking at my profile already?
They could get bored really fast.
Okay.
Right. So let's say, let's say that you get to my profile and it says CEO of Social Sales Link. They got here maybe for a moment of curiosity and I lost them immediately.
That's it. They're done.
Who cares, right? But if I talk about, transforming the way professionals grow their business by leveraging LinkedIn to schedule more conversations or more sales conversations, they're like, oh, I want more sales conversations. So I create a little bit of curiosity, right?
Okay.
So you need to teach them something new because our biggest competitor across the board, hands down, is status quo.
All right.
If you can't teach them something new, they don't see the value in talking to you because they already know what they know. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The next piece kind of tags on to number 3. So number 4 is we have to get them thinking about their situation differently. So what they learned has to shift their mindset about where they are today. Even a little, to go, I want that, I need that, do I have a gap, do I have a problem? That what I learned needs to change the way I think just a little bit. And when we can do those 4 things, it will lead. We're leading to, and all of those need to lead to our solution, right? Get hands raised. So everything we do, starting with profile, but including the content we share, the messages we send, everything ultimately needs to touch on those 5 pieces in order to get conversations. So, yeah, go ahead.
So when someone goes to LinkedIn, they go to a profile and they see the headline.
Mm-hmm.
How long? I mean, I know people say that when you send a resume to someone, because I've read resumes before, I would give a resume literally 5 seconds to see if something jumped off at me. Is it the same 5 seconds on LinkedIn for the headline, or is it even worse?
Well, so you only have 210 characters. So I haven't actually timed how long it takes to read 10 characters or 110 characters. So I probably could test that. But the bottom line is if it resonates with them and creates curiosity, it could be a little, when you're reading resumes, you've got a pile of a gajillion to go through quickly.
Right.
But let's say we got here because I read an article you shared that I liked, so I clicked through. I got referred to you. We engaged on LinkedIn, and now I'm checking you out, right? So you're here for a reason. The goal now is to resonate and create curiosity. Once we do that, they start reading. We need to teach them something new and get them thinking a little differently. And then we want to call to action. Like if this is resonating with you, let's chat, right? And so when we can do that well, we'll convert. It's the beginning, the foundation of converting connections to conversations. Now I can get to the why next.
Okay. But when you, and I'm not arguing with you, I'm just thinking through how some of my colleagues think about this. And I've got colleagues who are all the way like me, living on LinkedIn, constantly interacting with people. I have some colleagues who have no profile at all, and everywhere it's shocking, and everywhere in between. And I know one thing people talk about is if you put something new and unique in your profile that is a differentiator, aren't you giving away your hand?
So I think this is so interesting. I come from abundance. So there's a quote by Michael Port. I don't know if you know him, from Heroic Public Speaking.
Okay.
And he wrote a book called Book Yourself Solid. I think 10 years ago I read it. And there is a quote that says, give away so much value that you're afraid you gave too much, and then give more.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, this is a world of coming from abundance. If we come from scarcity, we'll end up with scarcity. What we put out in the universe is what we get back, right?
Sure. Sowing and reaping.
Yeah. Now, unless what you are sharing is what you are selling exactly, I sell my training and I still give it all away.
You give away tons of training.
I do.
Training.
And for many people, it's enough. And that's fine. But for other people, they say, if I have to choose, where I want to go for training, I'm going to go to the person that has already proven that their content is helpful, right?
Yeah.
And for the people that never pay me, they use my content, they help me amplify my message, they'll refer me. And so my goal is to never, and this sales trainers are going to cringe every which way right now.
Okay.
My goal is to never focus on my wallet. My goal is to never focus. I mean, I say that I love looking at my wallet, but when I'm out there prospecting,
right,
I'm never looking at this is my next sale. I detach from my goals and attach to my prospect or my client's goals. So if I can help them meet their goals, I'm going to do everything I can and then say, hey, I think I can help you, or I'm not sure I'm the right fit, but I've got a marketing person that might be, right? And, you know, there are a lot of times where I can spend an hour with someone from a prospecting perspective, and at the end of that saying, I'm really not a match. And typically that happens when they say, you know what, I'm really never going to do this. I need to outsource it. I'm out of here because that's not what I do, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so they might go, this is all brilliant and genius, but I'm never going to do it. That's not a match for me. And that's okay. Because now I'm going to introduce them to someone that can help them. Right. And eventually it's all about paying it forward. Right. And it's about doing what's right for them.
Well, and I have a saying that it's not a profound saying at all, but I say it all the time. Life is long. So many people say life is short, but if you take the long view and you realize, you know, I may have lost today's battle, but I'm going to win the war eventually. Life is long. Just keep helping people, keep marching forward. And you know what? It's going to come back.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you say you might, like, even if they didn't turn into my client, if they got value, that's a win.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I mean, the only loss for me is that I didn't get to help anyone today. Everything else is a win. It's just sometimes a little bit of the long game. And that's okay. That's okay. Because eventually you've got enough pipeline that as soon as you catch up to the first long game, it's now all short game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which is a good thing. And then you keep working the pipeline for when the short game goes away. So, okay, talk about the why. Since my first question was there and you're like, oh, no, but that's step 5, Sean. Let's talk about 1 through 4. Okay, now let's get to 5.
Now we've earned the right that they care a little bit more, right? We've provided value. So now we get into, and typically I highly recommend that this piece sort of be in the experience. But now you start with your story. And I start with my first job right out of college in an inbound call center, board, right? And that's, you know, and how that sales, which I converted, I created a sales job out of that, which very quickly, by the time I was 24, had me training people twice my age on how to sell. And I went to culinary school, you know, like I didn't go, like, you know,
wow. Right.
Like but I was a natural, it's because I'm a talker, right? And I ask questions and I learn. Hi, Phil. So, you know, so the why, now you have to earn the right for them to care about why. And if you provide value for them, now they want to connect with you as a human. So I tell that story and I bridge it into how I end up training LinkedIn. And that's way more important than me putting my job experience and my mission, even my passion in my experience. You know, people will really connect with you and bring it back to how you are, where you are today. How did, you know, what is the path that got you to the value you're bringing today?
So I get pitched. I connect with a lot of people. I probably connect with too many people. I've used to send out connections, like sit and watch a movie with my wife and just hit connect. Yeah. So I've got way too many connections that have no purpose at all. But when someone wants to connect with me, I'll generally connect with them, and I need to prune out the ones that have no value to me. But when they immediately pitch me, it just blows my mind. I mean, why do people do that? Are they just so desperate for business?
Yeah. And it's worse now because it's the only place they know to go, right? So, Bob Berg's saying know, like, and trust, right? Like, you've got to, in order for anyone to do business with you, they have to know, like, and trust you. And we used to do that. We would go to a networking meeting, a chamber meeting, a conference, a trade show, and we get to know people.
Right.
We can't do that today.
No, we can't.
Right? So how are we getting people to know? The right way is attract, teach, and engage.
I'm writing that down.
Right? So we have to attract, teach, and engage, and that's how they get to know us. But folks are jumping. They're like, I need more people to know me, so I'm going to tell them all. And I typically would not say anything like this live, but I just love this. And I don't remember who said it. I wish I could give them credit. Oh, I think it was Larry Levine, but I'm not sure, that said, I'm so tired of being pitch slapped.
That is Larry Levine.
Right. So I'm like, like that's it. Like, that's what it is. And I'm going to chalk it up to ignorance and the idea, the cold calling mentality.
Right.
If I can hit enough numbers, someone's going to take my call. So here's the thing, right? Like, yeah, that might be a faster outreach, but it's a much longer outcome, right? So if we can shift us from doing this cold calling on LinkedIn to engaging authentically, getting warm referrals from our existing network, and really leveraging the people that we got to know, like, and trust in a way to attract, teach, and engage the next new set of people.
Right.
It is a longer outreach, but it's a much shorter outcome.
So our mutual friend, Jeffrey Gitomer, says LinkedIn is, the cold call is dead. LinkedIn is where it is. And I haven't heard him say immediately pitch people, but I think people hear him say that and they think, oh, I can immediately pitch. It's LinkedIn. And
by the way, if you listen to Jeffrey Gitomer, he will say never pitch, build relationships.
Right.
So you got to put everything he says into context. So, look at his philosophy around, I don't know anyone out there that does a better job at building relationships. Like, he's magic at that, right? So he's not saying, I'm going to throw everything out the window and now connect on LinkedIn. He's saying, take my philosophy of really connecting human to human and use LinkedIn as that tool. So I want to make sure that we're bringing that together, right? So a lot of us will take he says LinkedIn, and I go learn his philosophy of connections, which I align with, and of real connections, like his little black book of connections, right? Go read that, and then start to apply that relationship-driven philosophy on LinkedIn.
So I'm sure I'm not the only person in the world that's ever sat down, watched a movie or whatever, and as I'm kind of half watching the movie, just hit connect.
Yeah.
You talk about doing an inventory of your connections. And, one can either do it on LinkedIn itself or download it into an Excel spreadsheet. And it's easy to do that. And if you want to know how to do it, send Brynne a message, send me a message. It's easy to figure out. You can Google it. But do you recommend that someone who has a ton of connections that they don't know, that may not even be in the right position, an individual like me, that I should go through and prune people out to lower the quantity, but then improve the overall quality on a ratio basis?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. And the first thing I'd say is don't just go in and disconnect from everyone. And by the way, if I go in, how do I do a public comment? I can only look at private chat. All right, I just put in private chat the steps to export your connections.
Oh, well, here we go. Let me copy and paste it.
Okay.
I'm assuming I can copy and paste. Yeah, I can copy and paste.
So, yeah, lost it. Yeah.
Oh, and you didn't just type that. You had that ready.
Yeah, it mushed, though. What I had ready is in a nice little 1, 2, 3 list.
Yeah.
It mushed it together. It still works.
There we go.
So what I would do, I mean, there are some people I might disconnect from, but generally, pick 10 people a day and quickly send them a message and say, Dave, we've been connected on LinkedIn. And when you export your connections, it'll say what date. Since 2017, yet we really haven't had a chance to meet. Are you actively using LinkedIn to network? And do you see value in us continuing to be connected? And then if they don't respond in a week, now I would delete.
Got it. And so now the big question, which is really going to blow people's mind, do you type that out or do you send a LinkedIn video to them?
I love a LinkedIn video. Now that's going to be on the mobile device, right?
Yeah, that's on the app.
So I think that's brilliant to do. And I use it for many reasons. I'm not a big disconnector of people unless they do something like, they're trying to pitch me. And when I say to them, sometimes I'll say too soon to pitch, send me value, and then, or do something valuable, earn my business. And then they pitch again. I'll actually often disconnect, but I use video all the time to reconnect with people. So that's a perfect way to reconnect with them. And if they don't respond, then they're not going to be good in my network anyway.
Yeah. It's and I got to tell this LinkedIn story, but I'll tell it quickly because it's all about you. But there's a very large company out there that I connected with. I saw that I had 2 connections in common with one of their chief officers. So I threw out a connection request to the guy, and he connected with me. And then I sent him a video and said, look, I know you're the wrong person to talk to. You're too high a level, but here's what I do. Who should I talk to? Within an hour, he sent me the person's contact information.
Brilliant.
And what did I have to lose? Nothing.
Right. Now, when you reach out to that person, just say, hey, you're a C-level guy, sent me your information to contact you.
That's exactly what I did. And the guy called me back in 10 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
In 10 minutes. He thought I was this guy's best friend.
Right. It's awesome.
Yeah. And there's some comments that are not going up, Mr. Bam. Thank you very much. So let me ask you. So what is the best way to adapt on LinkedIn, to adapt your profile that it is engaging to people?
Well, again, you have to move from what I want to tell them to what do they want to hear.
How do people make that switch when for so long we've been trained, you got to tell them this, you got to tell them that?
Yeah, so the switch is you've got to be hyper aware of what's going on in your world. A lot of it is start capturing your conversations with people.
Okay.
And nowadays it's easy because you can do it on Zoom. So what are the questions that your prospects are continuously asking you?
Okay.
That leads to what they want to hear. Right? So take a look at what's engaging in real conversation and take inventory of that. And
all right.
Same thing over and over again. I get on a call with a prospect and they, ask a question and I hear myself giving the same answer 3 times in a week. That's something they want to hear.
That makes great sense.
Yeah.
So you have a very different philosophical approach to the roles that people list on LinkedIn, their jobs. You don't say so much to list their jobs, but list the value of them. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So in the experiences where we have our story, our why, that's where they connect with us. And then you go, well, then how do they know what to buy from me? Well, we call it the experience hack, which is where, we're, in LinkedIn, it threads together all our past positions. We don't have to have them as positions. We can have them as our solutions or our deliverables, right? And so when you list those, so, I have CEO and my story, and then I have LinkedIn sales training for teams. And then I have 2,000 characters to talk about how that helps teams.
Wow. Okay.
Right. And then I have LinkedIn public class right in there, $297 for the public class. And here's how, this is how it helps you. right? And so we can actually, whatever your deliverables are, pick 3 to 5 and list them. So now, you've earned the right through providing real value. Now I got to know you and I like you. Now I want to find out, what do you sell, right? And think about how a conversation would go in real life at a networking meeting. We talk a little bit, we create curiosity, I learn a little bit about you. Maybe you provide a little value through, I have an idea for you. And then at one point they say, so Sean, how can I hire you? Or how do people hire you? And that naturally progresses when you've added value. They will never ask that question if you didn't bring value.
Right.
So be careful that you don't do that too soon. That you make sure that they've got what I call vendor agnostic value, meaning the insights and the tips that you shared, they can use even if they don't hire you or even talk to you.
Got it. You're helping people. You're helping people.
Yeah.
So Eric's got a question. My mobile LinkedIn timeline is top and never recent. Dislike. Can I change that?
Yeah, there is. I wish we could make the recent default, but you can't. The one thing you can do, and not that, you probably won't do it. Let me just make sure it works before I actually say it out loud, but I think that it does, is you can, if you take it from top and make it recent, does it change? No, it doesn't anymore. It used to change the URL on the top, but now that LinkedIn has updated, if you have the new LinkedIn and the new look, a lot of that has changed. So I think that it doesn't. Yeah, it's just one more step that you got to do in order to get there. I'm testing it now. And they've changed a lot of things that you could do. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm just testing to see. It looks like it might still work, even though it didn't look like it would. I know this is taking forever. Yes, it does work. So if you change it to recent and you bookmark the page at recent, and then when you get into LinkedIn, when you get in, you're using your bookmark to get in, it will start at recent.
But he was talking about the mobile app.
On the mobile app. Oops, I'm just jumping ahead. You don't think so? It's only one step, Eric. It shouldn't be too bad.
So what about, as people post on LinkedIn and they want to go all viral. See, I don't have this wide enough. We'll do it this way, all viral. And people use pods and people try and do different things. And at one point you had to have high engagement in the first hour, but it seems like that's not as much true lately because things are getting greater engagement. What are your thoughts on all that? So
first hour still really matters.
Okay.
Really, really matters. And November 11th, if anyone's interested, reach out to me. We're doing a webinar with Andy Foote, who is the algorithm genius of the whole world. And actually, which you're going to flash this up later, but if you join LinkedInLibrary.com, then you'll get alerted to that. But you can share. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
So if you join that, you'll get an invitation to Andy Foote. And so I'll know more about the magic of algorithm after the 11th. But the first hour does really, really matter. There are a lot of things that go into it, but quite honestly, as much as I love sharing on the newsfeed, it's getting it into the inbox that matters, right? So what I talk about isn't marketing. What I talk about is sales. And so recognize marketing is inbound primarily. Sales is outbound. So just posting and forgetting is even if you're sharing it in pods and you're using your hashtags, a salesperson needs to prospect, not marketers. So for every time that you share something of value, find the 50 people in your network that are your prospects that can also get value from it. and click on the little paper airplane send button at the bottom.
Okay.
Get it into the inbox. Right? So, hey, Sean, just posted a blog on X, Y, and Z, and as the ABC of this company, I thought you might get some value from it. Would love to hear your insights. And by the way, that could be curated content. That doesn't have to be your own content. And sometimes curated content is more valuable in the end. They don't feel like you're pitching, right? Found this great article, just posted this great article I found on Forbes, which is really powerful for entrepreneurs that are looking to double in size in 2021. Not sure if this is, high on your goals, but if it is, I think you might love this article. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And they're like grateful. That's not your own content, but they're like, wow, he thought of me. She thought of me. Like really, sometimes doing that with curated content can be more powerful than your own.
I will share things like that, but I hadn't thought about doing it the way you're saying. So I'm going to give that a shot. Okay, so we've gone a half hour, but this is a good question because I have just struggled with stories both on Instagram and haven't even tried it on LinkedIn. Eric says he thinks it's dying a slow death.
It's like a month and a half old. That's a I don't know. It's like, I don't know, the age of a goldfish. I don't know. I don't know. Are they dying? I'm getting engagement.
Okay. So you're bringing quality and Eric's not.
Potentially. I mean, I don't want to say that, but Eric, like, what are you sharing? And I hate, if it's just images with no value, like you want to really bring value. And we can talk about it for sure. Obviously, I'm happy to do that. But, part of it is like I have people that I want to see their stories all the time. And now they're always, when I look at them, they're always the first 3 or 4 that I'm looking at.
Interesting.
But Instagram is very different. This should be, are you bringing value? And you could do a quick little video. I'm using Canva to do a lot of my stuff, to do my quick tips. It takes no time at all. And you just create it as an Instagram story and download it and upload it. And what I love about Canva is you can create it on desktop. And then if you log into the app, everything is there. So you can create it on desktop and then download it on your phone.
So one final question, because this is burning on the minds of everyone who streams. Why is it so hard to get live stream on LinkedIn? Get approved.
So you're going to watch some tears pour down my face because I have applied 17 times.
And you haven't been approved.
Well, so this is what I've been told for me is we don't want people teaching LinkedIn on LinkedIn Live. That is what I was told. And I said, you're lost now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, Facebook, everyone's got it, right? Everyone's got it. I think everyone, honestly, I think everyone should have it. And you have to earn the right for it to get notified to your network, right? Like, so I think they're afraid that everyone's going to have it and get on it and start spamming. So I think you should get on it and it goes to your activity feed. And if you're not promoting it in a way that gets people there, you could be on live all by yourself.
And nobody knows.
Nobody knows. And I'm okay with that. So I think everyone should have it with limited exposure. And then it's up to you to drive the exposure. So I'm going to tell you on any live, if you want to drive traffic easily, right? And I know that everyone has its own link and it's all really different. Go buy a URL. So if you did Litvak Live, am I saying your last name right?
Close, Litvak.
Litvaklive.com.
Right.
And then as soon as you launch your new live, go ahead and update that in GoDaddy to redirect to the new. So everyone always knows you go live at 3:00 immediately, either you do it or an admin does it. And so they know it, at 3:00, I can put in Litvak Live, and I'm going to get to the new live for today. So it's always the same link.
Got it. And they don't have to go find it.
Correct. And you can add it to their calendar.
A redirect. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. So as I said, we've gone now 35 minutes on a 30-minute show, which seems pretty typical as of late. So in the last 2 minutes, tell people what you want them to remember. When they're logging into LinkedIn, when they're looking at it each day, what should be top of mind for them?
Engage with the people with the mindset of treat them, the people on the other side of your message, the same way you would if they were on the other side of the table. They are human beings on the other side, not opportunities, right? So treat it that way and have real conversations and authentically grow your network.
That's great. That's great. So everyone, Brynne TIllman from Social Sales Link. You can find Brynne and find out more if you want to know more about what Brynne does and learn more, because in this 30 minutes, this was 0.1% maybe of all the knowledge out there. So go to linkedinlibrary.com and you'll get a wealth of information and find out about some of those other classes that Brynne had talked about too. Also, if you enjoy this, you can subscribe to it, not only seeing it easily on Facebook, but you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just go to the search bar and type in Litvak Leadership, which I do have the URL, litvakleadership.com. I just need to build the website still. But type in Litvak Leadership at YouTube and subscribe to the channel. That's it for today for Litvak Leadership Live, but we'll be back tomorrow with another interesting guest in a completely different way. So everyone have a great day. Thank you again, Brynne. It's been a fun